Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Robert, and this is a playthrough of Heroes of Might and Magic, the board game. And I'm gonna be playing the solo scenario Homecoming. This is the first solo scenario that is included in the core box, and it's part of the castle. Faction campaign. Okay. So I've completed most of the setup. So there's setup steps that are general in this game that you can find in the rule book, and then in the mission book you're gonna find setup steps for this scenario specifically. I've already done all of it. Well, kind of. I'll get to that in a second. So I've created the artifact, spell, and ability decks. There's the neutral, the different tiered neutral unit decks. There's the map. I collected the tiles according to the campaign setup, which, by the way, it lists a few tiles that you can choose from. All right. So I just picked 5 of these types of tiles randomly and shuffle them and place them face down. It gives you the option of choosing, but I just went ahead and shuffled the F1 through F9 tiles in my case. Okay, so I went ahead and did that. In this scenario, you can't go past level 4, so I went ahead and put a black cube here, and then you also have till round 8 to complete the scenario. So I put a black cube there as well. All right. And for this scenario, according to campaign setup instructions, you are supposed to set up with no, except for gold, no resource income, all right? So that's what it should look like. Although for this scenario, the town board is going to have very little impact other than your population token, honestly. So it's going to be off camera for the most part for this playthrough. And so we got the decks. There's also the hero deck, so I'm playing as Catherine, all right? And this is what the deck should look like, all right? It should add up to 9 cards once you pick up the statistic and specialty cards, okay? So this is what the deck should look like. If it doesn't add up to 9 or it doesn't look like this, something went awry during setup, so make sure that the deck looks like what I just showed you here, all right? At least for Catherine. This varies per hero. All right. Okay. And now there's also some setup steps for the enemy, but I've played this scenario multiple times already and other campaign scenarios, and I found that I don't really have to worry about setting up the enemy deck early on. I can just wait till later to set it up. At least that really hasn't been an issue so far. So I'll set up the enemy deck later. You're supposed to set up an enemy AI deck and also a enemy army, but we'll do that later, all right, when the time comes to deal with it. Now, I did mention earlier that there are a couple setup steps that I haven't done yet. One is the difficulty bonus, all right? So I'm gonna be playing this in hard mode, and you do have to choose your bonus early on. You do have to resolve your bonus early on, all right? And for hard mode, you do have a couple options, okay? So you can, for hard, you can either gain a resource of your choice, or you can draw 1 minor artifact reveal cards from the top of the artifact deck until you reveal a minor artifact. Let's look at it here. All right, difficulty. Okay, so hard, you can roll a resource die and add the result, or you can also do what I just said. So we're gonna do that, and then there's also a bonus for the scenario itself that we're gonna do. Okay, so, but let's do our difficulty, bonus, and it looks like I forgot to add one of these from scenario setup. All right, a valuable. All right, I have my gold and my valuable from scenario setup. But let's go ahead and do my difficulty bonus. So there we go. That's the minor. That's a minor artifact. The first one that was revealed. All right. So I'll just go ahead and put that in my hand. Now keep in mind that this goes to my hand. It's not part of my deck, all right? So it goes to my hand. My deck is separate, all right? So this will be my hand at the start of the game, and then I'll draw up to my hand size, all right? So that's the first bonus, all right? The difficulty bonus. And now I've set up everything else. And now I just need to do the bonus the bonus that I get for this scenario. Now this scenario gives me a couple bonuses, all right? I can either reinforce the starting units, all right, which is what I have here, all right? These are my starting units. I can either reinforce the starting units, get 3+ valuables, or search the artifact deck. In this case, I'll go ahead and reinforce these fellas, all right? Yeah, the marksman and the halberdier, all right? So I'll go ahead and reinforce them. And there we go. So this starts in my hand. And with that, it looks like everything's set up. So now we can go ahead and get started, all right? So I'll go ahead and, and last thing, all right? So you're supposed to flip this tile, okay? And then you have to rotate it until the empty field. There you go. I would say this is the only empty field, okay? This is the only empty field in it, so your hero will start there, all right? There we go. So you're supposed to rotate it until the empty field is the leftmost one, all right, from your perspective, and that's where your hero starts, okay? All right, and I'm gonna put my hero pawn there, okay? There we go. So I have my army there. I have my first card in hand here, and first round. Now in this scenario, every round is a resource round, okay? You don't get resources from your town board, even though technically from campaign setup you're supposed to put your gold income at 10. You do not get gold from the town, from your town. You only get income from settlements, okay, and mines that you capture. Okay, so first card in hand, and now I go through the round steps. If you check your player aid, you'll see you have a handy player aid here. And now for the first round, you can just skip this and just skip what you see to number 3. All right, so player round. So I can discard any number of cards from my hand. If I wanted to, I could discard this, all right, and use this after the attack roll. Yeah, that's fine. I'll keep that. So I'll keep that, and then I'll check my hand limit. So my hand limit is 4 at level 1, and then I'll go ahead, and if I'm below hand limit, I'll go ahead and draw up to my hand limit, which is 4. All right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and switch to this side when stuff that we're in the map area, we're gonna switch over here, all right? And then when combat takes place, we'll switch over to the combat map, all right? The battlefield map. All right, so this is my starting hand, right? And you get 3 movement points, okay? Let's see what we have. So we got a couple different areas that we can visit here. Now, one thing I've learned from this scenario, so we're playing in hard, like I said, hard difficulty. One thing I've learned with this scenario, time's of the essence, right? You can't sit around too much and take too much time to explore. You do have to reach your objective. So we need to reach this tile so that we can then eventually reach the enemy town, all right, and confront them. So we need to go through the map and level up and reinforce our army and gain units so that we prepare for that. Okay. Now, okay, so in my turn, I can play cards from my hand. I have 3 movement points that I can use. So first thing that I'll do is, okay, so we have a field here that is a level 2, all right? So when I enter there, that's gonna start a combat already, okay? Now, one thing that I'm gonna do immediately though, just because I wanna, before I jump in there, one thing I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and reinforce, all right? So when you reinforce, you flip your population token. Now, unlike in the video game, and you might think that you have to be in your town to reinforce and recruit. You don't have to in this game, okay? And from the scenario rules, you are allowed to recruit. You're allowed to recruit bronze and silver units, all right, without the need of the necessary buildings. Same for reinforcing and for those two tiers, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and flip the population token, okay? I already did it a second ago, but I'll go ahead and flip the population token, all right? And I want to reinforce my griffins, okay? So the reinforcement cost is 6 right there, all right? So I'm gonna take this 10, return it, all right? And I'm gonna get my 4 back, okay? There we go. And we flip it, and we now have reinforced a pack of griffins, okay? All right, and with that, we're gonna go ahead and spend the first movement point and move to this field. Now, this field, let's go ahead and look at the map reference. Okay, that looks like it's just an artifact symbol, all right? So now I'm not gonna be able to do its effects, okay, until I've beaten the army, the neutral army there in combat, okay? But this will let me search the artifact deck and gain an artifact, all right? So now we're gonna go ahead and check the chart, all right? So when you step into a territory like this, you need to go ahead and draw a neutral army. Now I'm playing on hard, and that's a level 2 army. So hard, level 2. So I need to draw 3 bronze tier neutral units, okay? So I'll go ahead and do that. Now before I see what these units are, I need to put my units in the map. So let's go ahead and switch over to the map, all right? So these are the 3 neutral units that I'm gonna fight. And I'll go ahead and put my units like so. Okay, I'm gonna put my marksmen over here and my griffins over here, and I have my hand, all right, that I'm gonna use for combat. So now we're gonna go ahead and reveal the neutral units, and from your perspective, you're gonna start placing them on the left side of the board, all right, on the opposite side, okay, and in initiative order. So let's see. Now, these are all the same tier, all right? All 3 bronze units. There's 6, 6, and then 3, all right? Now, when 2 units share initiative, the same initiative value, you then, in that case, you put the higher tier unit. In this case, if this was a silver unit, you would put it in front. But they're both the same, so in that case, you just choose in what order, all right? So let's just put them like that, okay? There we go. So we have our encounter set up, and now combat begins. So we now start activating units in initiative order, okay? So I have the griffins, which have 9 initiative, so I'll go ahead and activate the griffins, and I'll decide what to do. For flying and ground units, they get to move around and attack, okay? And I'll get to the ranged units in a second. The difference is flying units, they ignore obstacles, all right, between them and the other ground units, right? But flying units just ignore obstacles. All right, but let's see what I have here. So I have a pretty defensive hand. I don't have a very offensive hand, so I'm just gonna have to rely on attacks and just try to defend from attacks. I really don't have like any spells or any attack increase cards in my hand for this round. So, all right. So what I'll do is I can move up to 3 spaces. So I'll go ahead and move. I'll go ahead and move here. Okay. And then I'm gonna attack. So now. If I had any kind of card to boost the attack, I would have played. Right now, I don't currently have any, so it'll just be a plain and simple attack. So I get to if you're gonna play any kind of bonus cards for increasing, stats for your units, you have to do so before you roll the die. Once you roll the die, you have to just resolve the attack. You can't do anything at that point. But right now, don't have anything to play, so I'll just go ahead and attack that guy. Okay, awesome. So I get a +1. All right. So I add +1 to the attack. So that's 4, and then he has an armor value. So I subtract 1. Okay. But even that wasn't enough, all right? So I killed these rogues in just from one hit, so that's great, okay? So I'll put it in the discard pile for the bronze tier units. And with that, I've activated my Griffin, okay? Now, if the rogues had survived, they would have had a chance to do a retaliatory attack, right? But I got them in one swing, so that's awesome. One thing I want to mention, early on I made the mistake of thinking that I had to use the enemy AI deck for neutral cards. You don't do that. This enemy AI deck that you build later, you use it only when fighting heroes. It's not used against the neutral units, okay? All right, so I've activated my Griffin, so that's all 9s. That was the highest initiative. We move on to the next highest initiative. Then we have boars, which have 6, and then the marksmen, which have 6. Now, because I'm the attacker, I get to have a priority, even though they have the same initiative. Okay. Now, keep in mind that if there were a bunch of units that's between me and the enemy that share initiative, that I wouldn't just go ahead and activate all of mine before the enemy. It's not like that. So if there's multiple units with the same initiative number, I activate mine, then the enemy, then me, then the enemy. All right. It's not like I activate all of my 6s and then after I obliterate the enemy, they get to activate their 6s. Not like that. All right. So do keep that in mind. It's back and forth. All right. When there's multiple units that share the same initiative. Now, marksman. So because the marksman, I reinforced it, it has a extra ability. All right. It's called, well, it doesn't have a name, but it says if I target a non-adjacent unit, I can attack it twice, basically. So let's see. If the attacker resolves a 0 or a 1, this guy... okay, so I'll go ahead and attack the boar, okay? Let's see if I get to kill it before it acts, all right? I'll just go ahead and attack twice. Okay, so 0. So I'll go ahead and place 2 damage. Now, the boar doesn't get to retaliate because I'm attacking from a distance, all right? And there's no armor, so it's just a straight up 2, okay? And I'm hoping that I won't roll a 0, sorry, a -1, because if I do, then the boar will get to act, okay? Now, I do have a Shield of Dwarven Lords, which this might be useful in that case. I can use it after the attack die roll. I can ignore the attack die and any additional effects triggered. So if I roll a -1, I can use the Shield of the Dwarven Lords, okay? Let's see. Awesome, so it wasn't necessary, so that's another 2 damage, okay? For the boar, and that's enough to kill it. All right, awesome. So this has been going swimmingly for me. So that was my 6. So I put a faction token on it, and now we move on to the halberdiers. All right, so it's the next highest initiative. So I'll go ahead and move 2 spaces. Okay, I can move up to 3. Oh, and one thing, actually, the marksman. Okay. I could have moved after attacking, all right? Typically, the reason why I would want to do that is so that I can attack ranged units on the back row without a penalty, all right? So if there had been any ranged units back there, I would have moved it 1 space forward. So you can attack and move, but you can't ever attack and, move and then attack with ranged units, okay? All right, so I wanted to make sure I covered that. Now, halberdiers will go ahead and attack the zombie. All right. So now he has. Let's see. When this unit is targeted by an attack. Okay. So he's not being targeted by an attack yet. So I'll ignore that. And I'll go ahead and roll. Okay. So we hit the zombie for 3. All right. Cool. Now, if the attacker resolves a 0 or a +1, the zombie gets +1 armor. So we're gonna prevent one of that damage. Okay. Now the zombie gets to retaliate. I'll go ahead and put this on my halberdier to make sure that I I remember that I already activated him. And now the zombie gets to attack, but before the zombie attacks, in retaliation, I'll go ahead and play a defense on my halberdier. Okay. Now the zombie gets to roll. All right. All right. 0 and 2 defense. So that's +1 plus the 1 defense that my halberdier has. No damage. All right. Now, keep in mind that this second effect is only for when you want to use the more powerful effect from your hero, but that's after I level up. Using the crown logos that you see there. I don't have access to doing that yet. Okay, so I only get the lesser effect. All right, so this goes to my discard pile. All right. And that was the retaliation, but now the zombie gets to activate, all right? Not to be confused, because that was a retaliatory attack, but now the zombie gets to actually activate, okay? So what I'll do is, I think I'll go ahead and use this Shield of Dwarven Lords to give him +1 defense, all right? Before the zombie attacks. So let's go ahead and roll. All right, so that's +1. So that's 3 minus 2. So that's 1 damage for my halberdiers. Okay. Now, normally, that goes to my discard pile. Now, normally the combat would end here, and if I didn't have more movement points, I would lose. All right. Combat against neutral units lasts for 1 round unless you're willing to spend another movement point, and then in that case, you get to extend it for another round. So that's what I'll do, because luckily, I do happen to have more movement points, and I go ahead and do that. This combat would have probably ended without me having to spend that if I had a bit more aggressive cards in my hand, but that wasn't the case. So now that got activated, and now we just remove all of this stuff. All right, and then a new round begins. So we start again from initiative, highest to lowest. So I'll go ahead and move my griffins and attack. Let's see. Okay, -1, but even then, that's enough. 2 against the 2 remaining health for the zombie, and the zombies are gone. And I have completed the combat, victorious. All right. So now I'll gather my army here. That's where I'll keep it in between battles, all right, just in the front of the board here. Now, with that, we're now, first thing we need to do is level up, all right? So when you defeat an encounter, a neutral encounter, if the encounter is higher than your hero's level, so in this case, I have, my level is 1, okay? So because this encounter was level 2, I get to go up 1 level, all right, basically. Now, if the encounter had been equal to my level, I would go half up, all right? So I will be half. Now I get to go 1, 2, I go from level 1 to level 2. Now we're gonna refer to let's see, the level up reference here, which I got here, all right? So let's see, when we go to level 2, so now we have the crown, which we can use for to get better effects from cards. So now we have 1 crown that we can use per turn. And then we go up to level 2, we search to the ability deck. And at this hero level, I may play 1 expert effect per turn. There we go. All right, so that's the crowns are for expert effects. Now, so I get to search to the ability deck. Now, what does that mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the ability deck right here, okay? Now, so this is the ability deck and the ability discard pile. So when you search and X number, all right, you can either look at the top X, that same amount of cards, all right, from the respective deck, and then pick 1 of those cards you reveal to your hand and discard the rest, or you can skip that and just grab the card that is on top of your discard pile. Now, I'm not interested in that card, so I'll go ahead and look at the top 2, all right? here, and I'm gonna pick one to my hand. Remember that when you gain cards, they go to your hand, not your discard pile. So let's see, play this card immediately after the enemy casts a spell. Now, this is not very useful here because the enemy in this scenario doesn't really play spells, all right? So that's a no-go. I can reroll a treasure die and a resource die once during this turn, or I can reroll any die once during this turn. So I think I'll go with luck is the more useful one in this case, all right? And this one goes to the discard pile, okay? There we go. And that is the ability Deck Search, okay? There we go. So this goes to my hand, all right? And now we have one movement left, okay? And I'll go ahead and put a cube here, all right? We switched over to the map. We're gonna put a cube there indicating that this location hasn't been visited. Oh, and I almost forgot. I need to resolve the location. So the location has the artifact icon, which means I search the top 2 cards of the artifact deck, okay? Or same thing I just explained for the ability deck, all right? In this case, this is the card that's on top of the discard pile, or I can do the deck. So in this case, let's do this, all right? Draw 1 card and gain 1, discard 2 cards to gain 1, then instead of discarding, discard, okay, I think I'll have to go with that, all right? Or the Cyclops King. Now, let's just go ahead and go with this, all right? I'll go with the Targ, okay? Go to my hand, discard pile, all right? There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and with the one remaining point we have, okay, we're gonna go ahead and use that to reveal this this tile. I could use it to move, but I'll go ahead and reveal this. All right, so I'll go ahead and spend 1, okay. And we're gonna reveal this, all right? And there is an event when you reveal the first level 2 to 3 tile, all right? So we're gonna switch over to the campaign book for a second, all right? Here, let's see. All right, so events. When the second far map tile is revealed, all right? So this was the first one that was revealed, and this is the second one, okay? So we need to read the 2 paths section, all right? You come across a branch in the path, 2 routes separated by a majestic mountain range. The first is a paved road surrounded by trees and meadows. The second is a steep path along the mountainside, which is barely visible over the piles of snow. However, snow is not the only thing that glistens in the light of day along that path. Now you can choose this, all right, to be the grass path or the snow path. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make this the snow path, okay? All right, so now when this is the snow path, this is what that means. So the tile that I discovered, as well as the next undiscovered tile connected to it, has all of its visiting bonuses doubled, all right, from visiting fields. And but the mine and settlement production remains unchanged. However, your hero has -1 movement when on a snow path, all right? Now, this also means that because I chose this to be the snow path, the other path becomes the grass path. Now, in the grass path, all right, and these 2 tiles, this one and this one, okay, they're considered the grass path, okay? But stuff is just unchanged here, all right? So this now becomes the snow path. It's gonna be slower because I'll have -1 movement along this path, but I do have doubled bonuses, okay? But in my case, I really need that settlement because I want to build up my economy. Because I right now, because the town doesn't provide income, I do need to accrue income for me to make sure that I can recruit a strong enough army for the final battle. All right, so I want to make sure I go this way for that settlement right there. All right. Okay, so now I don't have any movement left. I don't have any cards left in my hand left, and it looks like that is it for round 1. All right, so now we're gonna go to let's see, end of round steps. Why don't we look at our handy player 8? All right, so round steps, let's see. So there's no other players that need to follow up after me, so check win and lose conditions. Nope, nothing met yet. Now we're gonna advance the round tracker, okay, to 2. All right. And now we go now remember, every round here is a resource round, but I haven't captured any settlements yet. Okay, so I haven't captured any settlements yet, so I don't have any income yet, so I don't produce anything. Now, check the type of round. If this is the first round, skip, blah, blah, blah. If this is a resource round, income, but I don't have any income. There's no astrologer round in this scenario. All rounds are resource rounds. And then player turn. Okay, so now, player turn. I get to discard any cards from my hand, all right? I'll go ahead and discard these 3 cards, okay? And then draw 3, okay? 1, 2, and 3. All right, that's a bit better for combat. Okay, so now I'm at level 2. I have my I have a bit of gold here. Let's see what I can do. Let's flip our movement. So as far as round steps, we're gonna flip our movement tokens. We're gonna flip our town. We're gonna flip our town tokens as well. All right, and we moved the round cube, and it looks like that is it as far as new round steps. So now I get to just start a new round. Okay, so this is now round number 2. And there's one thing that I realized while editing, and it's that I did not retaliate with halberdiers during that last combat, which means I would have not had to spend that extra movement point. So what I'll do is I'll just get an extra movement point for this round to make up for it, because I used a movement point unnecessarily. Okay, all right. So let's see. So I'm not gonna go through the snow path this time. All right. I want to go this way just because I don't want to have my movement hampered. And we're gonna spend that movement point from last time, and we're gonna move here. Okay. So that right there, let's check it out. Magic Spring, visitable. I may look at the top 3 cards of my discard pile and take one of them back to my hand, return the remaining cards on top to my discard pile in any order. All right. So there's no enemies this time. Okay, there's no number, so I don't have to do a neutral fight. I'll go ahead and mark this, and keep in mind that so it's an optional. In general, these field effects are optional. You don't have to do them if you don't want, but you do always have to mark them. The visitable fields, even if you decide not to do the effect, you have to mark them. Okay, you can't not mark it when you move to it. Okay, so I'll mark it, and then let's see. So I'll look at the top 3, and really these are not these are not super useful. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and take the luck card, all right, and put it in my hand and put the others back. But it's not super useful in this case, all right. But I do have a bit more of an aggressive, hand this time. Now we have a settlement, and it has a. We have a settlement, and it has a 3 level neutral army that I'm gonna have to face. Okay, and I do need that settlement because I need to make sure I have some income. All right, I'm definitely gonna be facing more enemies along the road. I might lose some of my troops, so I need to make sure I'll have that income to replenish my troops. Okay, so I'll go ahead and spend that movement point, and I'll move here. Okay, and now combat begins. Okay, now let's go ahead and set up the field. So let's reference the the difficulty chart for the table for battles. Okay, so for hard, which I'm playing on hard, that's a level 3, so I need 2 silvers and 1 bronze. Okay, so let's see. So I set up my units first, and before that happens, you do have the chance to reinforce before the battle even starts. Let me see. So I'm gonna look at my units available. So remember, for this scenario, you can recruit silver tiered units and silver tiered units and bronze tiered units without the required buildings from your town board. And I have 9. Yeah, I don't quite reach the amount that I need, unfortunately. All right, I still need more gold, so after this fight, I'll go ahead and replenish my units. I think this should be enough for me to defeat that encounter. All right, I do have some decent cards in my hand. So it's 2 silver tiered and 1 bronze. Okay, and I'm gonna put my halberdiers. You know what? Let me put them here this time so that I can attack back if I need to, a back line unit. Okay, so let's see. So we got, all right, so we have mummies, nomads, and peasants. I'll go ahead and put them in initiative order. All right, okay, and that's the battlefield. So I have the highest initiative with my Griffin, and I want to make sure I read their abilities. So Nomads, that ability doesn't matter. That's only if you control it as a player. For Mummies, ignore the attack result on the attack die when it attacks. So basically, you don't need to roll a die. I mean, you can roll the die, but it won't matter when it attacks. And then when I attack it, I always set the die to -1. And then peasants, that ability doesn't matter for the enemy. It's only if you control it as a player. All right, cool. Okay, so I start with the Griffin, which has initiative 9. I'll move towards the Nomads and let's see. I'll go ahead and so I do have 1 expert level effect that I can use. So I'll keep this black cube nearby for when I do, as the rulebook suggests. Every time you use up 1 of your expert effect crowns, you can simply put a black cube on your hero. All right, so that's what I'll do when I need to use a black cube effect. All right, and then let's see. Let me go ahead and okay, I think I'm gonna want to have to use this against the mummy. So this is what I have in my hand, by the way. So I think what I'll do is just give it an attack. All right, let's not even allow it to act, hopefully. So that's, unless I roll a -1, which would be unfortunate. Let's see. So let's do an expert effect on that. Okay. Let's see. So we put this here, and that will give us the expert effect of +2. All right, so that's 5, and then we roll the die. Let's see. All right, 0. Great. So that's 5 damage. So the +2 plus the 3 attack on the Griffins against the -1 armor, and then 4 health. So Nomads are gone in 1 swing. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I used up my 1 expert effect this time. So every card I play now doesn't. I can't do the expert effect if it has 1. So Griffins, I'll put a faction cube to indicate it's been activated. Okay, so 9. Let's see what the next one is. We have 6. So the militia, the marksman. The marksman. Let's see. It has. The marksman has 2. Okay. So what I'll do is so what I'll do is I'll attack the peasants. Okay, I'll attack the peasants. I'll just go ahead and attack it twice. So that's -1. So that's 1, and then 0. Okay. All right. So the peasants are gone. Okay. And now I'll put a faction cube, move the halberdiers to the mummies, and because so they have the same initiative, but remember, as an attacker I get to move it first, all right, even though they have the same initiative. So I'll just go ahead and give it the +1 attack, right? So that's 4. And then I don't have to roll the die because the mummy's ability says just set the die to -1. So that's 3 damage, okay? Okay. And then the mummy will retaliate, all right? Or is it 3 damage? Hold on. So it's 3. Okay. Oh no, and it's the armor, so it's actually 2. All right. Let's see, 2. Okay. That's right. So yeah, I gave it +1 attack. 4 -2. Yep. So that's 2. Now, so the retaliation attack. All right, so let me just put the cube here on my halberdier after attacking, and then the mummy gets to retaliate. Now, the mummy ignores the result on an attack die when attacking. Okay, so now I could roll it, but it won't matter. So it's just gonna be a 3 against the 1, but I'll go ahead and give it a 1 defense. Okay. So that it only deals 1 damage. So that's 1 defense. So that'll be 2 defense total against the 3 attack. So he only takes 1 damage. Okay. All right. And then let's see. Let's go ahead and then have the mummy activate. Okay. So now. So the black cube is for when it retaliates, but now the mummy will actually activate. Again, it'll ignore the attack result, and it'll just deal 3 against 1, against 1 armor. So that'll be 2 damage. So when you deal damage, so in this case 2, right? What you do is any leftover damage is dealt to the you flip the unit, and then the leftover damage goes here. So I deal so that's 3 damage minus the 1 armor, so that's 2 damage. So that's 1, which adds up to the 2 there. So the unit gets flipped, and then there's still 1 leftover damage goes on the halberdier. All right. Now I do get to retaliate, but I have to set my die to -1. Okay. I have to set my die to -1, and even with the -1 on the armor, the retaliate doesn't really do anything. And unfortunately, I don't have any other aggressive cards in my hand to use, so I do have this time to use another movement point. All right, to make the combat last 1 turn longer. We reset everything. Okay. Okay, and then. We're gonna go ahead and start again, and I think with these 2 I should be able to not if I set the die to -1. All right, cool. So I'll go ahead and attack with the griffins. Let's see. So I'll go ahead and so I have to set the die to -1. So that's 3. Okay. And then let's see, and then the zombie gets to retaliate, so I'll activate, and then let's see, the zombie gets to retaliate. It doesn't roll a die. All right, so that's it doesn't roll a die, so that's just 3 damage. There you go. All right, and that is it. So it doesn't get to retaliate anymore. And now I activate. All right, the marksman, but I have to set the die to -1 every time, so the attack doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Same thing will go to the halberdier, and the zombie will just go ahead and attack the. Yeah, I mean I could activate them in order, but it's just the that ability is a bit annoying, so I just wish I had just one plus attack card in my hand, but it is what it is. So, all right, now the halberdier the marksman activates. The mummy will activate before the halberdier. It'll attack the halberdier, okay, and it doesn't have to. It ignores the die result, okay, and it'll just be 3 against this. Now I could. I think that what I'll do is if I give it +1 defense, no, it'll not survive still, unfortunately. So that's +1, 2 minus the 3. Yep. Even if I give it the 1 defense, it'll still die. So the mummies attack the halberdier, and that's it. So I lose them. Okay. And now we move on to we have to start another round. I use my last movement point. Okay. And then I attack with the griffin. So we remove all the cubes. We start a new round, and this time the griffins they just set their die to -1, 2 against that, and there we go. That's the 4. Finally, we defeat the mummies. Okay, we put this away. That was pretty painful, just because of that mummy ability. It's really annoying. We heal all damage, but there we go. We have these 2 surviving units. Now we get to capture our settlement, though. So after all of that, let's see. So if we check the rules for settlements, I can flag it, and then I can choose what type of resource it gives me. All right. In this scenario, really, all I need is gold. So I'll go ahead and increase my income by 5. Now, when you capture it for the first time, okay, when you capture it for the first time, you get a bonus. You can reinforce one of your bronze or silver tier units, okay, for being the player. So now I can get yeah, if you're the first player to flag it, you get a 1-time additional bonus for being the first player, right? So I can immediately gain the chosen income, or I can reinforce one of my bronze or silver units. All right. Now, what I'll do is I do want to increase my income by 5. Okay, so I'll put a gold coin here to indicate that. Okay, so you put a gold coin to indicate the type of resource, right? And you also put your faction cube there, and also you then get the bonus. Now you can either again for the 1 time you can either choose the income, you can immediately gain the income, or I can reinforce one of my bronze or silver tier units for free. So I think here's what I'll do. Let me see. Can I recruit this? So what I'll do is, here's what I'll do. So before I gain the bonus, remember you can flip this at any moment, right? You can flip your population tokens at any moment. So what I'll do is I'll flip my population token, right? And I'll spend, here's my halberdiers, right? Okay. So I'll flip my population token and I'll reinforce and recruit as much as I want, all right? And I'll spend 9, actually I just need to spend 8, okay? So I'll spend 8 to recruit my crusaders and my halberdiers, okay? So that's 6, 8, all right? So that's 6, that's 8 in total to recruit both of them. Remember, I can recruit through scenario rules. I can recruit silver and bronze, okay? So I'll recruit them both. And then I'll go ahead and get the bonus from the capturing the settlement. I'll go ahead and reinforce my silver unit for free, which is 10 gold. There you go. All right, so I get to reinforce my crusaders for free, and I get my halberdiers back. All right, and that brings me back to down to 1 gold. All right, and then we're gonna increase our town income here because we just captured that settlement. Now, this is just kind of to keep track of it. Remember that technically you don't get those 10 gold from the town income, all right? So this is just a little reminder from the settlement, basically. So I get 5 gold per turn so far, all right, from that first captured settlement. And now we're gonna level up our hero. We did just defeat an encounter that was level 3. which was 1 level higher than my hero, which means that I increase my level 1 full level. So we go from level 2 to level 3. If it had been an encounter that was equal to my level at that moment, it would have been a half level, all right? But we go up 1 full level because of that. So now we're gonna check our level reference, all right? So for level 3, we're now level 3, our hand limit now increases to 5, that's awesome. And then search the ability deck, search to the ability deck. So before searching, I have the option of grabbing the first card from the top of the discard pile in the ability deck, but I'm not interested in that. All right, I don't want that card, so I just check the top 2. Okay, there we go. So we have sorcery, which lets me increase my spell power by 1, or lets me draw a card. But I don't want the wisdom card because I don't have a town mage guild to buy from. So I'll go ahead and discard that, put it on top, and I keep the sorcery card in my hand. Goes to my hand. Okay. And I don't have any more movement points, so now we're good to go. All right, we start the next round. So let's go ahead and look at our reference here. So first, I'll go ahead and move the round cube 1 step forward, and then let's see. We have let's flip our population. So it's a resource round actually. So let's go ahead and gain my resources. So we gain 5. Okay, so let's see. We gain 5 resources. All right. There you go, 5. Okay, from our settlement, and there's no round timed events from the scenario. No astrologers cards this scenario. We're now gonna go ahead and flip our population token. All right. Okay, our town tokens, and then we now go to our player turn. So I get to discard any number of cards I want from my hand. I'll go ahead and discard these 2. Okay, I'll discard these 2, and I'll draw up to my hand limit, which is 5. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I shuffle my discard pile. Okay, and I draw 1 more. All right, there you go. So now I also flip my movement points. And it looks like that is it. So now we begin round 3. Oh, and one thing I forgot was I didn't remove the expert crown token or cube from my hero. So just making sure that I know I have 1 expert effect available for this round. Okay, so first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and flip this movement point so that I reveal this tile. Okay, all right, so we have a couple encounters, a morale token, so I think that I'll do it. Let's see. Yep, let's go with that. All right, so I'll place it like that. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is confront that level 3, spend another movement point, move on to that settlement. Okay, and that triggers a level 3 encounter. All right, so as usual, first I need to position my units, and I'm gonna position them like so. Oh, and before combat starts, there's not gonna be another combat this round, looks like, so I'll go ahead and flip my town population token, and you can do this up to even before the battle starts, by the way. Okay, so I'll flip it, and I'll just go ahead and make my halberdiers a pack. All right, I'm gonna reinforce them, and that's gonna cost me 3 gold. So I'll spend this 3 gold, all right, and flip them. Okay, so they're better prepared for this battle, and that is it. So now let's begin. So I have set up, I've lined up my. Oh, let me put these guys here. All right, I've lined up my my army. So again, we did this last time, but just to double check. So for I'm playing on hard level 3, so that's 1 bronze and 2 silver. Okay, 1 bronze, 2 silver. All right. Okay. All right. So let's see. We have 2 back row. So for ranged units, you're supposed to put them in the back row based on initiative. So 6 to 5, and then silver, we have 1 in front. All right. right there. And that's it. I have the highest initiative with the Griffins, so I begin. So I'll go ahead and I would like to prevent that Medusa from even acting, because I don't want them to paralyze one of my guys. That's going to be pretty bad for me. So what I'll do is, unfortunately, I can't get to the Medusas because so the Medusas paralyze my targets when they're attacked. So I don't want that. Oh, actually, no, it's when they retaliate. All right. Um, so I guess I'm gonna have to try to attack it from a distance. So let me show you what I have in hand, all right? So I have Magic Arrow, I have this Luck card, I have a Crusaders card, that's the specialty of my hero, which lets me increase the stats, either attack or defense of any creature or of any unit. But if it's a Crusader, I double the bonus. So I have my Crusaders, so this is pretty awesome. And one of the first things that I'm gonna do actually to better plan my turn, I think I'll go ahead and use my expert effect now to gain my use this leadership card, which is awesome. All right, so I'll go ahead and put my my expert effect cube on my hero, and I'll get the better effect of leadership. So I draw 2 cards, and then I gain a morale token. Okay. Let me go ahead and do that. Give me 1 second. Let me just put this aside over here. Okay. All right. So let me also put this over here. 1, 2. Awesome. All right. Just what I need. More attacks. And then I gain a morale token. All right. So the morale token lets me do a couple of things. All right. So I have my reference here. So the morale token lets you, you can use it at any point to draw a card, reroll a die, or discard any number of cards from your hand and then draw that same number of cards. So that's great. And we'll see if I have to use my morale token now or later. All right. But for the Griffins, why don't we go ahead and give it. Why don't we go ahead and give it? Let's go ahead and attack the Minotaurs and I'm gonna give it an attack. Okay, I'm gonna give it a attack. So we're gonna attack and go from there, because I do have a spell that I can play before the Minotaur retaliates. All right. So +1, that's great. All right. So that's 5 total attack against the Minotaur. The Minotaur has 2 defense. All right. So -2, so that's 3. All right. Okay, now the Minotaur would normally have a chance to retaliate here, but before the Minotaur attacks, I do have a window where I can play some stuff, right? So let me put this here to indicate that the Griffin was activated, and let's go ahead and just play this magic spell. So you can play only 1 spell per turn, all right? I'm just gonna use the I'm not gonna empower the spell. So you can discard other spell cards or use other abilities or artifacts that have that power icon. Okay, so I could use the sorcery to add more power to that spell, but it's not necessary. Just the 1 is fine. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sap that Minotaur with the magic arrow. All right, before he gets to retaliate. All right, and magic spell damage ignores armor, so that's great about it. It's a bit unfortunate that it took 3 fights for me to finally play that card, but that's just how the cards were drawn for this game. Okay, so now Minotaur's gone, so that was initiative 9. The next highest initiative is 6. Now Medusa and Crusaders have 6 initiative. I am the attacker, so I go first. Now I can move my Crusader 3 spaces and then attack, okay? So I'll move my Crusader 1, 2, and 3, okay? And then I'll attack the Medusa, so that's 4 against the 1 armor, but I'll go ahead and boost my Crusader with this card. So I'll give it +1 attack. Now, because it's the Crusader, the bonus is doubled, all right, for the Crusader unit. But I could normally play this on other units and it would be okay. It just wouldn't be doubled. So that's 6 attack, and even if I roll a negative die, it's still enough to kill the Medusa in one attack. And the Medusa does have an effect where if it retaliates, it gets to paralyze your unit, all right? But it didn't even get a chance to retaliate because I dealt lethal damage. Okay, so this is great. This is how combat normally goes, but it's been a bit of a struggle. It's been a bit of a struggle the past couple turns because of the lack of aggressive cards. All right, but awesome. Crusaders took out those Medusas, and now we move to the next initiative. So that's 5. No, there's another 6 here. All right. So marksman and marksman. Normally, marksman would get a penalty if the marksman were back here. When ranged units attack backline to backline, they get a penalty for attack. Penalty means that you roll 2 attack dice and you pick the worst result. But I consciously chose to put the marksman in front to prevent that. All right, so my marksman is attacking from here to the back line there. It doesn't get a penalty. All right, so I just roll 1 die and pick the better result. Okay, so now it also has an ability. If the target is a non-adjacent unit, you can attack it again. Okay, so I attack it twice. All right, so that's 1 damage. Okay, all right. And then I attack again, card for that. So yeah, I'll just roll again for the second attack. I'll just go ahead and roll again for the second attack. There we go. 0. Awesome. So that's 2 on the marksman. It doesn't have any shields. So there you go. That was a quick combat. Quick and dirty. So I didn't lose any units this time. And I did have to use a few cards though. But now, this time, now we move on to the map. All right, so let's see what happens. Now I do level up. And this time it was a it was a encounter. It was a neutral combat that was the same level as me, as my hero. So I only go up half a level. All right, and then I get to put my faction cube to flag that mine. All right, it's not a settlement. It's a mine. I think I might have called it a settlement earlier on, but yeah, it's a mine. So now, when I capture a mine, I immediately get its income. So I get 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got it. Okay, awesome. So I've only used 2 of my movement points so far. I'll go ahead and flip another movement point, move here, and this one is very simple. I just gain 3 gold from visiting this field. Easy, no combat or anything. And I put the visited cube there. All right, and that's it. That's round. That is round 3. I don't have any more movement points. I do have some cards in hand, but I don't really have any other. I don't really have anything else that I can do with them. I flipped my town token, so that's it. That is round 3. Oh, and before we begin the new round, I forgot to add the income from the new mine to my town board, just as a little reminder, okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and go through the new round. So we move the round token to round number 4. Let's see, we're gonna get our income. So I have 5 and 5 from both of my captured places, so that's 10, okay? And there's no timed events, no astrologers round. Let me go ahead and flip my movement tokens, and then I'll also go ahead and flip my population token. All right, and there you go. That looks like, oh, and I almost forgot my expert black cube from my hero. I go ahead and remove that, and then cards in hand. So I'll go ahead and discard. This is the only spell in my deck, the Magic Arrow, so unfortunately the Sorcerer is not really going to do anything. And I'd rather draw more aggressive cards, so I'll go ahead and discard these 3 cards and draw 3 new ones, okay? And my hand limit right now is 5, so I go up to 5, okay? Alright, cool. Okay, so not the most aggressive hand, but that's alright. Okay, so we begin, and let's use the first movement point to move here. This gives me a morale token, all right? And then I'll go ahead and use the next movement point to discover this tile. So let's check it out. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and place it like this, all right? And my reason for that is I haven't I haven't really gotten the best artifacts this game, all right? Or spells. I would like at least one more spell in my deck. I want that so that I can roll two treasure dice and pick one of the results, all right? And then I can just jump into this field, and I'll gain a half level, which will bring me to level 4. And as I approach this last tile, so let's go ahead and use that other movement point, and I'm gonna move here. And when you jump into a field where your hero is at least one higher level than the neutral encounter level, the neutral units flee in terror and no combat takes place. So I skip the combat and I simply put my visited token, and I forgot to also put my visited token here as well. All right, so I put my visited token there, and I roll two treasure dice. All right, and I pick the better result. Okay, from the two. Let's see. All right. Oh, so I get experience from both. Well, will you look at that? So now I can't go past level 4. All right. So I just move my cube there to level 4. They both came out to experience. Wasn't planning on that. Can't reroll, so that's all right. So okay, cool. So I went ahead and got my level anyway. I guess what I can do is I can go there next round. All right. To reveal this tile, now that this won't really do anything for me. I was hoping for cards, but oh well. All right, now I did go up to level 4 though, so let's go ahead and do let's properly do the level up procedure. All right. So I went up to level 4. I moved my cube already, so now I have a second expert cube that I can use for playing expert cards or playing cards for their expert effect. All right. And then level 4 says add a second specialty card to your deck. All right. So that means that you have to go look at your faction cards. All right. For Catherine, there's a second specialty card that's level 4. It's the Crusaders card that gives one of my selected units increased health. Now, again, as I've mentioned before, for these cards you can target any unit, but if you give it to the Crusaders, if you give it to them, they get a double benefit. All right. So I'll take the Crusaders level 4 specialty card, and it goes to my hand. Okay. And with that pretty much is it. Now, before I move on to the next round, I want to also make sure that I use my population tokens, since it would be wasteful not to use it this round, and I do have a use for it. All right, so I flip my population token, okay, and this is the only unit remaining that I can recruit, because I can only recruit silver or bronze units for this scenario. All right, so I recruit it for 8, okay, and then I'll also go ahead and reinforce it for 8. I think I have enough. Let's see, 10, 16. Yep, I have 21. So I get rid of all of this, right? I get rid of 20, okay. All right, yeah, 16 and 4. There we go. So that's 20 gold. So I get to recruit my zealots and immediately reinforce them. Okay, remember, when you flip the population token, you can recruit and reinforce as much as you want, given you have enough resources. So now my army is complete, okay, and I just have to now reach the enemy town. All right, and with that is the end of round. This is the 4th round. We're gonna move on now to round 5. So let's go ahead and flip a few things here. So or move some things around. So let me go ahead and move this to round 5. We're then going to get income. So I have still my 10 income from my 2, the mine and the settlement that I captured. So there's my 10 income. Okay. And then resource round, I got my resource done. Let me go ahead and flip my movement tokens, and then let me flip my population token. All right, there you go. And I didn't use any expert effects last time, so that stays as is. And now I get to discard and draw. So I can go ahead and use let's see, ignore the attack die and any additional effects it triggered. Okay, so I think I'll keep the Dwarven Shield. I'll keep, let's see, I don't really care for Crusaders, or actually, yeah, I don't really care for the Crusaders card that much right now. I'll keep these two, and I'll discard, yeah, I'll discard all of these, okay? Maybe I'll keep one defense card, that's fine. I'll discard 3, and I'll draw up to 5, all right? So I draw 1, and then I shuffle my deck, okay? Okay, and I draw 1 more, all right? There we go, leadership, that's awesome. Okay, there we go. So we have our hand of 5. I've flipped everything. I've moved the round token. I got my everything else flipped, so everything else looks good to go. All right, so now we're gonna begin round 5. I'll go ahead and flip this movement token. I'll move here, and what this allows me to do, that field right there, it allows me to discover a tile adjacent to this one. All right, so it basically saves me a move point, kind of. So I'll go ahead and discover this tile. Okay. All right, and now I get to position it in any way I want. All right, so I'll go ahead and place it like this because I do want to visit this, even though it will trigger combat. I want to roll to see if I can get an artifact this time. Okay. So let's see. So I've revealed that. Let me go ahead and put my visited token there. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and use another movement point. Now, actually, before I do that, because I intend to step into this field, right? Let me go ahead and use my. My morale token. All right, let me use it now because I'm about to get a new morale token, and I'll draw a card. Okay, cool. Now I'll go ahead and use this movement point. I'll step into this field, and what it does is it gives me a positive morale token, and it also gives me another movement point. So that's awesome. All right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use that movement point to move here. Let me also make sure I put my visited token or cube there. All right. All right, so I move here, and now that's a level 4 combat, okay? And I do definitely want to roll those dice to see if I can get an artifact. But now new combat starts, so let me go ahead and position my units. We switch to the battlefield. Let me go ahead and put my zealots here, my halberdiers here, all right? My crusaders, my griffins, actually halberdiers here, and marksmen back here, all right? And now we again check our difficulty chart. So we're playing on hard, so we're facing a level 4 hard, so that's 3 silver units, okay? So we draw 3 from the top of the deck, okay? And we now arrange them on the battlefield, so we have one backline unit, ranged unit there, and initiative 8 and 5, okay? So we have a vampires and a crusaders unit, all right? And I have the highest initiative with the griffins, so I start. And this is my hand of cards, so I have defense, knowledge, and it's really unfortunate I have not drawn a lot of spells this game, so I really haven't been able to take advantage of that, sadly. Let me use this morale token to draw a card, all right? So let's see. Sorcery. Great, another card that I can't really use, all right? Okay, yeah, so here's what I'll do. I'll attack, using the griffins, I'll attack the vampires, okay? I'll use a attack card, and I'll use an attack card, and then I'll make it a expert effect. So I'll get +2 attack for the griffins, okay? And I'll go ahead and roll, okay? 0. Great, so that's 5 damage. The vampires don't have any shield, so killed in one swing. All right, I put my faction token on the Griffin. I put this in my discard pile, and that was 9 initiative. When we go to the next lowest, next highest initiative, that's 7. Right, the Zealots have 7 initiative, so they get to now attack. I'll go ahead and attack the Crusaders with the Zealots. See. All right, 0, so that's 4 minus the 2 armor, so now that goes down to 2. Okay, the Crusaders don't retaliate because it's a long range attack. So I've activated my Zealot, so that was 5. That was 7. We now move on to 6. So we have 6 now. Okay, so I think I'll go ahead and use another expert ability. So I'm gonna play the leadership card. So that's another expert effect. I'm gonna draw 2 cards and gain a morale token. Okay, and yeah, I have all of this spell power that I can't use, so that's really annoying. Let's see, okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and activate the Crusaders. All right, I'll go against the Crusaders back there, and I'll then roll. Let's see what happens. All right, 0. 4 minus the 2 shields, that's lethal damage. Okay, great. So I'll go ahead and place this in this pile. Okay. All right, so that's the Crusaders. I activated them, so that's 6. Now the Zealots is 5, but I still have another 6 initiative unit that I can activate. Marksman will attack the Zealots twice. Now they do have a penalty, all right? I attack it twice. Let's see. I have to pick the worst result. Oh wow, that's amazing. 2 plus 1s, so I get to do 3 damage, all right? And as long as I don't get a 0, and I do have the Dwarven Shield, so I think it'll be fine anyway. So I attack it again. Let me put this in the discard pile. Let me attack it again with this. Yeah, so even then, what I'll do is, so I have to pick the worst result, right? But what I'll do is I'll play after the attack roll. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll use the Shield of Dwarven Lords. Use this after the attack die roll. Ignore the attack die and any additional effects it triggered. Awesome. So I ignore this and I deal the 2 damage to Zealots, and with that I have finished this combat. All right, cool. So now this was I can't really go up in level again for this scenario. I've reached my level cap, so we now just ignore that, and let me put my visited token here, and we now resolve that right there. So I get to roll either 2 resource die or 2 treasure die and keep the result from one of them. Once again, I'm gonna roll these 2. All right. Okay, and this time I get to pick 2 resources. Gosh, I was really hoping for an artifact, but once again, the dice are not in my favor. So I guess I'll pick that result, and I'll roll 2 resource dice. Okay. All right, so I got 6 gold. That's pretty good. 6 gold and 2 valuables. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we set this aside, and I do have one more movement point left. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and use it. Let's flip this. Let's go to the obelisk, and now this triggers an event. All right, this triggers an event. We're gonna visit. We're gonna check the scenario book. All right, so this is the from below event, right? So now the instructions say place your hero on the empty field of the starting dungeon tile. So we're just gonna go ahead and put it here. Okay. Let's see. There we go. All right. We're just gonna go ahead and put it there. Okay. And we're gonna put it there for now, and we're gonna place a purple cube. We need to place our hero here. Let's just put this aside, and boom, like that. Okay. Now that's the enemy hero, and then we're gonna place our hero here, and then we're gonna place a purple cube on every other field on the starting dungeon tile. This, and this. And technically, I could put one there, but it's a blocked field, so I wouldn't be able to enter anyway. So this is fine, okay? Yeah, so each purple cube represents a neutral army that the difficulty of the encounter is equal to your main hero's level. And then you need to add a few troglodytes unit for every combat encounter you face. All right. And after I defeat the neutral army, remove the faction cube from its field and place it on your hero's card. Okay. You're not going to be able to attack the town until I have at least removed 2 purple faction cubes. Yeah, we're gonna get to that, and then we're gonna attack the hero. But I don't have any more movement points left. So now we're gonna move on to round 6. All right, so now we begin the next round. We're gonna go ahead and move the cube to round number 6. I don't need to reset my expert cubes, so they're good to go. Let's go ahead and check on our population token. I haven't used it, so it stays the same. Let's also get my income. So this time it's going to be 10 once again. Let's see, again, no astronomer around, only resource. And now we are going to go ahead and check our hand. And I can discard any number of cards that I want right now, and I'm pretty sure that the next time I draw I should get the spell card, or so I hope. So let's see if I can take advantage of that. I'll keep these 2, and then I think I'll discard all of these. Yeah, I'll discard all of these. I'm really banking on getting that defense card, not defense, the spell card. That's gonna suck really bad if I don't, but alright, so yeah, I'll keep these 2, and then I'll draw up to my hand size, which is 5. 1, 2, and 3. Oof, there we go. That's the spell card. So now we're gonna be having some fun with that. Okay, so I already flipped all of my movement tokens, and we're ready to start tackling on those. We're ready to start tackling those neutral or enemy armies. Okay, and as the scenario instructions mentioned, they are neutral armies, the same level as the hero army, but they have a troglodyte added to them. Okay. So we're gonna put that in the battlefield because the next couple battles are gonna automatically include a troglodyte. And I'll go ahead and do my first move. Let's go ahead and flip this, and we're gonna attack this field with the first enemy army. I'll go ahead and put this cube aside. If I win, I move the purple cube to my character board. So now it's gonna be like I said, a army equal to my hero level, which is 4. So if we check our difficulty, we're playing hard, level 4, so that's 3 silver neutrals. All right. And before I draw them, let me go ahead and position my my army. There you go, just like last time. I'm gonna position them like this. There's going to be an auto include of a troglodyte, and we're going to go ahead and draw 3 silver cards, and we're going to go ahead and position them now. Gosh, that's the mummy again. Need to make sure I deal with that. So we got some sharpshooters back there, and we have, let's see, 7, 5, 4. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've positioned the troops, and now I have 9. I do have 9 initiative, but now the enemy also has his sharpshooter with 9 initiative. Okay, so let's see. That sharpshooter definitely is gonna act, so I have to be careful with that. And it will try attacking. Units of its same tier as per AI. priorities, and because it's a ranged unit, it'll also prioritize ranged units, so it's going to attack the Cellon. All right. So now let me activate my Griffin first. I'll go ahead and attack the nomads, and let's go ahead and I think this combat's gonna have to carry out for a couple of rounds, and that's all right. So I'll go ahead and attack the nomads, and I'll roll for the Griffin. Let's see, 0. So that's gonna be 3 against the 1 armor, so that's 2. So I've activated my Griffin. Nomad gets to retaliate, so I'm not gonna defend the Griffins. That's all right. Let's let the Nomad attack. So that's -1, okay? And then the Griffin has no armor, so that's 2. That's 2 damage. So then there's the Sharpshooter, and enemy ranged AI units prioritize other ranged enemy units with equal tier. All right, so Zealot is the target right there. That's fine. I'll let the Sharpshooter attack. So that's 0. Okay, so that's 3 against the Zealots. They do have 1 armor, so they take 2 damage. Okay, so he got to act. Okay, oops, not that. I do put my same faction tokens on the enemy. That's fine. That's just an indicator that they have acted. Okay. Now, next we move to 7, which is the highest, the next highest initiative, and we have the Zealots. So at 7 initiative, we're gonna go ahead and attack. And I think that what I'll attack is before the Nomad gets to attack, I'll go ahead and attack it myself. Okay, so let's do a ranged attack, and that ability doesn't matter right now. So I just get to attack with the Zealots at the Nomad. Okay. Okay, so that's 0, and so that's 4 damage against the 1 armor. So that's more than enough to eliminate the Nomad, all right, before it gets to act. It would have acted next this combat round, all right, but Nomads go away, all right. There we go, so my Zealots have acted, and then we move to the next priority, which is the next initiative, which is 6. So we have the Crusader and the Marksman, all right. So I'll go ahead and move my Crusader to attack the mummies, and let's go ahead and give the Crusaders +2 attack, because I think that'll be enough. Yep. So I'll go ahead and use one of my expert abilities, okay, to attack the mummies. And that'll be +2 damage. Okay, so even if well, I don't have to roll because the mummies just set it to -1. All right, so even with the -1, that's 6 damage, so that's 5, and then minus the armor, that's still 4. So that's still enough to kill the mummies in one swing. Okay, so I go ahead and put the activation token on the Crusader. I put this in the discard pile, and mummies go away. All right, and I've activated my Crusaders. Mummies don't get a chance to retaliate. Next, we move on to number 6. All right, so we have Marksmen. Marksmen, they're gonna attack the Sharpshooters. Okay. And I think that, let's see, I might go ahead and use my spell now just to save 1 movement point, okay? So we'll see, but let's go ahead and roll with the Marksman. Now the Marksman, because I'm attacking the Sharpshooters back there, they get a penalty, okay? So I have to roll both and choose the worst result, all right? But let's see how this goes. So I'm attacking again the Sharpshooters, which have no armor. Okay, so the worst result was 0 in this case, so I deal 2 to the Sharpshooters, okay? And then the Marksman ability allows me to attack the target again if it's not adjacent. So I roll again with the penalty. Okay, and again I deal 2 damage, so that's great, okay? All right. Then, so I've activated my Marksman. Now the Halberdiers are going to go ahead and attack the Troglodytes, okay? So I'll go ahead and move them one space forward, okay? And then I'll go ahead and roll. The ability that the Halberdiers have is more defensive, so it doesn't matter right now. So it's going to be 3. I can't really boost his attack right now, so I'm just going to rely on the roll. I just hope it's not a -1. Okay, so I'll go ahead and roll. +1, that's excellent. So that's 4 damage, -1 armor. So that's 3 damage against the 2 health. Troglodytes are gone. Okay. Alright, and these are actually the faction Troglodytes, so I'm not going to put them in the neutral discard piles. So the Halberdiers have acted, and I could spend 1 movement point to go ahead and start a new round, but I do value movement points right now, so I'll go ahead and just cast a Magic Arrow, okay? And I'll go ahead and boost it by 1. Yeah, it's one of the other few times this playthrough that I've been able to cast a spell. I play Magic Arrow, and at the moment that I'm casting the spell, I can then go ahead and add power, and it can be either by discarding other spells or by playing abilities or artifacts that grant spell power. All right, so I'm giving it. You know what? I have not used my power, but it's not necessary. I don't need to use my expert power for this. All right, I'll just leave it at that. Just 1 spell power will be enough. I just need to deal 2 to the sharpshooter to finish it off before the combat round ends. So I'll go ahead and deal 2 damage, but I also draw a card. All right, so I draw the Crusaders card. This goes to my hand. All right. So this is what my hand looks like right now. Now I'll also play another card. I'll play Knowledge, which play this card after casting a spell. Instead of discarding the spell card, take it back to your hand. So I'll deal the 2 damage to the sharpshooter, okay? And then I'll go ahead and return this Magic Arrow to my hand, all right? And these 2 go to the discard pile, okay? And that completes this combat. So I'll go ahead and, as per scenario instructions, I'll go ahead and put this card on my hero, this token on my hero card on my hero board, but I'll just go ahead and put it on top there. And I'll go ahead and resolve that field, which lets me roll a resource die and gain it, okay? So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll clear the battlefield. All right, there we go. So that's 3 gold. Let me go ahead and do that, and I'll go ahead and put my token there. All right, the visited token. All right, and let me remove these. And with that, we still have 2 movement points left. Let me put this back. Okay, and let me bring my army back. Awesome. And okay, so now we still have 2 movement points, so looking good. I think we should be able to tackle that other army right there. So I'll go ahead and use another movement point. I'll then move to the next field, all right? And I'll now confront a new army. So again, as per scenario instructions, this army is going to be equal to my level, and it'll automatically include a Troglodyte. So let's go ahead and draw 1, okay? And before I see I'll reshuffle that deck in a second. Let me go ahead and set up my army again, like so, all right? And let's go ahead and reshuffle the silver neutral unit deck so that I can draw the 2 more that I need, all right? Shuffle it a bit more, all right? And then I draw 2, okay, and we now go ahead and set up the enemies. So we have all ranged enemies. Look at that. So we have, except the Troglodyte, that is. Let's see. So 9, 6, and 7. Okay, cool. And then the Troglodytes will go in front here. All right, cool. Okay, I think I'll go ahead and attack the Lich. It doesn't have any defense, so it's just all about the die here. All right, 0. So the Lich takes 3 damage, and then it gets to retaliate. Now, because it's a ranged unit, it does get a penalty for attacking an adjacent unit. All right, so I'll go ahead and put my activation token there. Lich is gonna go ahead and retaliate, and now I'll go ahead and roll 2. Okay, let's see for the damage on my Griffins. So it chooses the worst one, which is -1. So that's gonna be 2 on my Griffin. Now the Lich does have an ability, and from what I've read, if you look at the astrologer's FAQ, right, document, it does say that there's such a thing as friendly fire, and I'm pretty sure that the Liches, when they attack, because they do have an ability, choose an adjacent unit, a unit adjacent to the target and attack it. And for the purpose of that attack, you gain 2. So I think that because the only unit next to my Griffin is the Troglodytes, I do think they get affected. So I'll go ahead and roll 2. It chooses the worst result, once again, -1, and then -1 from the Troglodytes, and that'll be just 1 damage, okay? All right, so that's it. The Lich has retaliated, okay? I've activated my Griffins, and now the Sharpshooter will attack, and once again, just like in the last game, it'll target my Zealots, and with no penalty. And I'm not gonna oppose that, that's fine. A roll, so that's -1, okay? So that's 3, 2, and so that's 3, sorry, 2, and then the Zealots have 1 armor, so it's just 1 damage, okay? All right, there you go. And that was the Sharpshooter. Let me go ahead and put that there, okay? So that's 9, then we move on to 8. There's no 8, so now we move on to 7. Liches have 7, and Zealots have 7. Now, before the Lich attacks again, I think I'll go ahead and roll against the Lich. So I'll roll 1. Okay, so that's -1. So that's 3 damage against the Lich. So the Lich is smoked. Okay. All right. So Lich is dead, and my Zealots have been activated. Okay, and there we go. So that was 7, no other 7s, now 6. I get to activate my 6 first. The Medusas are up, but well, before that, I get to activate one of my 6s first. And I can move my Crusaders 1, 2, and 3, okay? And now, I'll go ahead and attack with the Crusaders. Now, if I roll a 5, actually, no, you know what? Do I want to save this for later? No, you know what? That's okay. I don't mind spending on. I think I don't mind spending another movement point this round. All right, so I'll go ahead and roll +1. Awesome. So I got the Medusas in 1 hit. All right, and they don't get a chance to retaliate. That's 5 against the Medusas, even with the armor. That's enough. Awesome. Lucky roll. Love it. Okay, so 6, there's another 6 here, and that is the Sharpshooters, okay? So I'll go ahead and just like last game, I need to roll the 2 dice and I choose the worst result, okay? So I choose 0, so that's 2 against the Sharpshooters, okay? And then again with the Marksman, so that's -1, so only 1 damage this time against the Sharpshooters, okay? And I go ahead and put my activation faction cube there. So then we move to 5. The Troglodytes don't get to activate, but let's go ahead and 1, 2, and 3. I move the Halberdiers, and I think they should be able to finish off the Troglodytes, no problem. So yep, Troglodytes are toast. Okay, there you go. All right, and I put the cube on the Halberdiers, and it looks like that is the end of the round. Let's go ahead and remove all of these cubes. All right, and I'll go ahead and spend my my other movement point so that I can prolong this for another round. Okay, and we've returned all of these tokens, and we now begin a new round. So we start at 9 again. I'll go ahead and move my Griffins. Attack. +1. So I destroy these sharpshooters before they get to respond, and there we go. Okay, all right, so we have now conquered this other field and destroyed this other neutral army. So let me go ahead and regroup my troops here in the middle, and we go to the map. We put this cube next to our character, and I'll go ahead and visit the field, and this time I roll a treasure die. Maybe finally this time I'll get an artifact. Let's see. No. Okay, so I suppose then in that case that I'll go ahead and get some resources. So let's see. So I roll 2 resource dice and pick 1 result. I suppose I'll go ahead and pick the 6 gold. Okay, and there you go. I put this back, and now I'll go ahead and I don't have more movement left. I don't really have to activate my population token because my army is still stacked. So we just move on to the next round. I think I'll go ahead, and now that I have 2 cubes as per scenario instructions, I'll be able to attack the enemy town once I have 2 of these faction cubes. All right, so let's go ahead and start the next round. I don't have to flip my population token this time. I get my 10 income, okay? And I'll go ahead and move it to the 7 round here. I flip my movement tokens, and anything else. I think the rest is just my hand, really. The expert cube, okay, there we go. Everything else looks good. I got my resources, I flipped my movement, and now my hand. I'll go ahead and discard this Tarsh, and I'll draw up to my hand size, which right now is at 5. Okay, so this luck card, I just have not been able to get the best out of it. Let's see. Draw and draw. Okay. Wow, I just put that Tarsh back and I got it back in my hand. It's like, F you. Just you get the Tarsh no matter what. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, we just spent a movement point, and now we attack the enemy hero. All right, so as per scenario instructions, we're gonna go ahead and do the following. So for attacking the enemy hero, okay, so we need to set up a level 4 neutral army and a few Minotaurs, and then the no spell deck, and then 6 might cards. The Troglodyte, I think, was for the other neutral armies that I just beat, so we ignore that. So now we have a might deck that we need to set up. Okay, so now what's up with that? So there's these AI cards, okay, and there's different types. There's might, magic, scales, and whatnot. They'll have the different icons at the bottom. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to take all the might cards, the one with the helmet, right? Shuffle them and then draw 6 without looking at them. That is gonna be the enemy's might deck, which I have over here. All right, I've already created it. So there you go. So there's the might deck. I'm not supposed to look at it. All right. So there's the 6 might cards that I picked randomly. All right. So there's a might deck, and this does make combat more dynamic. Okay, it adds another layer to the combat when battling a enemy hero. So I'm gonna keep the might deck over here, and now it'll be a level 4 army with a Minotaur added, and I'm pretty sure it's a few Minotaurs, not a pack. All right, just double checking. Yep, it's just a few Minotaurs. It's not the pack. All right, so now as usual, I'll go ahead and position my army. Okay, there we go. And now we draw 3. Okay, level 4. We've already checked that multiple times. Level 4 at hard difficulty. We draw 3 silver tier units, and now we just flip this. Okay, And let's see how we're going to organize this. So we have these zealots back here. We have the minotaurs, all right, the neutral minotaurs, that is. And I can just place this in any order, all right, because they both have the same tier and the same initiative. And then we put the faction-specific minotaurs last because they have 6 initiative. But now we have this mind deck, okay? You don't have to put it there, all right? That's, you know, you put it outside, but I'm not, for now, I don't think that I'm gonna have to put a unit there anytime soon, so I put it there, all right? But otherwise, you should put it somewhere else nearby. Now, let's go ahead and start combat. So the highest initiative from Griffins, once again. And before I start the combat, actually, I'll go ahead and use my positive morale token to I'll discard these 2, okay, and I'll draw that many cards, okay. Let's see, 1, 2. All right, excellent. So another thing I'll do before I do anything else, I'll play I just drew this leadership card. So I drew a leadership card and a attack card, all right, from discarding those 2. But I'll go ahead and play my leadership card using the expert effect, and I'll draw another 2 cards. Awesome, okay. And I'll get another positive morale token, okay, cool. This goes to my discard pile. And now I have a much better hand for me to do fun stuff with, all right. So this is a much better hand. Wow, yeah, much more aggressive. This is a lot of firepower. So now we should be able to take care of these enemies. So now I'll go ahead and attack the Minotaur, all right, try to stop it before it acts. Now reroll any -1 outcomes from this attack die. All right, I'll keep that in mind for the Minotaur. And let's just go ahead and see if we can. Do I want the Minotaur to retaliate? Oh, and keep one thing in mind, all right, when battling the enemy hero, all right, important detail. Unlike neutral encounters, okay, the combat lasts until one of the side loses. You don't have to spend movement points. To prolong the combat for more rounds. And if you lose this encounter against the hero, you lose the scenario. All right. So it's a do or die situation here. So now I do have one more expert level effect that I can do. But let's just go ahead and give the Griffins a +1, all right, and I'll attack, okay, let's see, 0, all right, so that's 4 minus the 2 from the Minotaur, that's 2. Now the Minotaur gets to retaliate, okay, so let me put my activation token here, let's put this in the discard pile, and let's go ahead and have the Minotaur retaliate, okay, so that's +1. And the Griffins don't have any armor, so that's it. They just got flipped to their fewer side. All right, there we go. Okay, all right. So it took 4 damage. Great. Now that was 9. We move on to the next one, highest, which is 7. Now I don't want those Minotaurs to activate again and attack again, so I'm gonna try to stop them with the Zealot. So that's 4 damage. Let's go ahead and roll this, okay. There we go. So that's +1 against the Minotaurs. So 5 minus the 2 armor, that's enough, okay. So I get rid of this, all right. Minotaurs are gone, or the neutral Minotaurs, that is, not the faction Minotaurs. All right. So Zealot has acted, okay. And next we have 7, which is the Nomads. So let me see. 7 from the Nomads. I don't think I can stop that. The Nomads are just gonna have to act now. Interesting thing here, okay. That's where the AI deck comes in for the hero. Every time that you'll notice that a theme with combat here, trying to kill enemy units before they act, important, right, for winning. But in this case, I didn't manage to stop the Nomads from acting. Now, when an enemy unit acts, okay, in hero versus hero combat, you need to draw the top card of the enemy deck, okay, and then you follow their instructions. Put this card on the unit with the highest health in the army. And when the unit is about to be attacked, it gains a bonus based on the difficulty level. It says expert, but it means hard, all right? I think this was a little oversight here, but it means hard, all right? So this is the bonus that will apply to the unit. So the highest health unit in this case would be the Zealots, so now they have that bonus, okay? Plus 1, all right? There you go. So now the Nomad will get to move, and again, they typically try to attack units of their same tier, so it'll attack this Silver Crusaders, Silver tier Crusaders, so it'll attack now. Do I want to defend? No, I think I'm good. Crusaders have 2 armor, so let's see. 0, so that's 3 against the 2 armor, so the Crusaders take 1 damage, okay? And with that, the Nomads have acted, okay? Now the next one, so that was 7s, okay? Now we move to 6s. Now I can either activate the Marksman or the Crusader. Let's see. I think that what I'll do is there is a chance that I'll be able to activate the I'll be able to kill the Zealots before they act. So let me go ahead and activate the Marksman against the Zealots. Okay. Oh, and actually, I just forgot. I almost forgot. I need to retaliate with the Crusaders. I almost forgot. Sheesh. So let me retaliate. Okay, so Zealots get to retaliate. All right. So Zealots get to retaliate. There we go. Let's see. So that's 0. So that's 4 against the 3 armor there. There we go. 3. Okay, cool. So Crusaders retaliated. Now 6s. Okay, so what I'll do is Marksman. I wanna attack the Zealots back there. So let's go ahead and roll 2. And actually, what I want to do is let me give. Let me go ahead and give. I'll go ahead and give +1 attack to. I'll go ahead and give +1 attack to the Marksman. Okay, so I'll roll 2 and choose the worst result. Okay, so that's 3 damage against that. Now there is that 1 armor from the defense. Okay, so this gets discarded. Okay, I'll put it back there. So that's a -1. So it takes 2. All right, cool. So that was the first attack. Now a second attack. The second attack doesn't gain the +1 bonus. All right, so we just roll again. Okay, so I choose the worst result, so he just takes 1 damage this time. All right, so now we put this away, and we have marked the Marksman as activated. So that's the 6s, and well, that's the first 6 that I activate. Now the enemy gets to activate the Minotaur, all right? Because remember, I don't get to activate all my 6s. I mentioned this very early in the playthrough. There's 2 6s, right? The Minotaur has a 6. The enemy has a 6. So, well, the Griffin Warren has 6 earlier. They already activated. But there's 2 6s here, right? I don't get to activate both my 6s before the Minotaur. I only get to activate 1, then the enemy, and then I get to activate my other 6, okay? So now the enemy gets to activate the Minotaur. So we're going to go ahead and draw an encounter card here for the Minotaur and put this card on the unit that is to activate next, okay? So let's go ahead and put it on the Minotaur, all right? And now the Minotaur again tries to attack units of their same tier, so it's gonna try to attack the Zealots. So it's gonna move to attack the Zealots, and then it'll roll 1, okay? And the Zealots will also get to retaliate, but the Zealot has a special ability. We'll get to that in a second. So Zealots. So Minotaur, that's 3 against the Zealot minus the 1 armor. So Zealots take 2 damage. So the Minotaur has been activated, okay? Now the Zealots will get to retaliate, all right? So the Zealots ignore combat penalties against adjacent units. So normally, because it's a ranged unit, he would get a adjacency penalty for being a ranged unit, but his ability says ignore that penalty, okay? So I just got to roll 1 die, and let's not forget, he also has +2 defense, and let's see, yeah, unless I roll a +1, that's not gonna do much, but at least it'll remove the defense card. Yeah, so he doesn't get to deal any damage but it was attacked, okay, and at least this defense card is gone. All right, cool. So that was a retaliation. Minotaur acted, and now we move on to the next 6, right, which is the Crusaders. Now, do I want the Crusaders to attack? Well, the Crusaders don't have much of a choice because stuff's just blocked, all right, so it can't really move around. So Crusaders gonna go ahead and attack the Nomads. 0, all right, and yep, even with the armor, the Nomads are toast, all right. So we move the Nomads back here. Crusader has been activated, okay. Let's see. So we have now the Halberdiers, okay, and I'll go ahead and attack the Minotaurs with the Halberdiers, okay. And what I'll do is I'll put, even though it would have been overkill to put it in the Crusaders, but I'll go ahead and put this in the Halberdiers, all right. So that's 4 attack. Let's roll the die and see. 0. So that's 4 against the 4 against the 2 armor. So the Minotaur takes 2 damage. All right. So I'll go ahead and put this in the discard pile. All right. So the Minotaurs have been attacked. I activated him. Now the Minotaurs get to retaliate. Now I'm thinking maybe I can go ahead and finish them off both right now. Let's see. So I'll go ahead and use Magic Arrow, okay, before the Minotaur gets to retaliate. I'll use Magic Arrow, but I'll give it +1 spell power, okay, with sorcery, and then I draw a card, okay. I draw a Shield of the Dwarven Lords, all right, so this is my hand right now, but I'll also play Knowledge, all right. Knowledge lets me, when I play it after casting a spell, instead of discarding it, I take it back to my hand, all right. But yeah, I sap the Minotaur for 2 damage, it ignores armor. Another Minotaur, the Minotaur's gone, all right? I keep spelling Minotaur weird, sorry about that. Before he gets to retaliate against my, well, this doesn't go there. This is the faction, a specific one, so I put it next to the faction cards, all right? But there you go, Minotaur's gone, this goes to the discard pile, okay? There you go. And with that, we move on to the next round, and again, because this is a, oh, and actually, no, the Zealots have not acted yet. Now the Zealots get to act. So now we draw the top card of the deck, all right? And the next time it attacks, it'll get +2 attack. So it attacks target with the same ranged of the same tier. So it'll attack my Zealots, all right? And that's with +2 attack, no penalty, all right? Because it would have a penalty if it was back here, but he's a bit closer. So we roll -1. So that's total of 4 damage. So now there's 1 armor, 4 minus the 1 armor, so that's exactly enough to flip him and not put any leftover damage back on him, okay? There we go. So, all right, cool. And now, that's it. So he acted, this is put away, all right? Yeah, he gained a bit more attack. And now a new round begins, so we just put this back where they go, okay? And now we are gonna go ahead and attack those Zealots, and the highest initiative is these 6s, okay? I think that I'll just go ahead and attack with the Marksman because they get 2 attacks. So let's see. All right, 2. Okay, the worst result, which is -1, so that's 1 damage, okay? And I can just finish it off with the Magic Arrow, all right? So I'm not even gonna roll the second die, that's fine. I'll just finish it off with the Magic Arrow just because I can. And with that, folks, we have defeated the enemy hero, okay? And we have completed the scenario. So what happens is you're supposed to read the story. I'll leave it for you to do that, all right? So I'll just this is the passage you're supposed to read, and then you would move on to the next scenario. Now, the only thing that carries over, okay, you're supposed to set up the next scenario like new, but the one thing that will carry over, you reset everything, your hero level, everything, but the one thing that carries over is you're gonna take 5 cards from your deck that are not your specialty cards or cards that you started, like, those 9 starting cards, set them aside and put your specialty cards back on your Put your specialty cards back on, on your faction specific pile. All right, put that aside, and the starting cards for your deck, put those aside. Now, in that case, I would mean this, this, let's see, this, and this, and this, right? Now, I have played this scenario multiple times, and I've gained, 7, 10 cards in the process, right? But anyway, so from the any cards remaining, which, like I said, typically is more than 5, but from any cards that you gain during the scenario that qualify from this category, right? You keep 5, and that becomes part of your deck, not your hand. This becomes part of your 9 starting deck for the next scenario. All right, and then during that scenario, at the end, when you gain more cards and you improve your deck even more, then from that pool you'll choose 5 cards and then carry them over to the next scenario. So the only thing connecting the scenarios is going to be those 5 cards that you carry over between scenarios. Resources, other things, unless the scenario states otherwise, nothing else really carries over. Okay. But that's it, folks. That's the playthrough of the Homecoming scenario of Heroes of Might and Magic, the board game solo campaign for the Castle faction. And if you folks have any questions, comments, feedback, go ahead and put them in the comment section. And I hope this playthrough helped you familiarize yourself with the game and enjoy it like I've been doing. Okay. And again, if you have any comments, questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.